morning and welcome back. Happy holidays to you and yours. We're winding down the month of November. After this one, there is one more day to go. And then the month that we always look forward to, that month of December, Christmas time, the festive season where we celebrate and give thanks for life. Coming up right here on the platform this morning, I'll give you an opportunity to win a fantastic prize from our corporate partner, Flo, who's getting you all lined up for Christmas. One gift can make and multiply to many more with Flo. We'll tell you lots more. It's a Blue Christmas this year. And we invite you to get ready and celebrate with Flo. Our phone lines are open. I'll share with you the question in just a bit. And also coming up, not today, but later on in the week and next week as we get closer and closer to Christmas, we'll give you an opportunity to guess the right price on some fantastic items from our corporate partners. You guess the right price and you win yourself some great stuff for the festive season. Lots happening right here on Good Morning St. Lucia. Continue to wake up with us and make us your choice. Let's focus now at 7:14. 14 minutes moving down past 7 in St. Lucia. We focus now on the recent address to the nation by the Honorable Prime Minister Philip Joseph Pierre. That address to the nation was delivered on Sunday evening while the Prime Minister was en route to Taipei. He's now on official visit to Taiwan, perhaps our closest diplomatic allies, and before moving over to Taiwan on that official visit, he delivered a 12-minute long address to the nation, focusing in the main on the crime situation. We will play the address in its entirety, and then I will make a connection over in New York City, where we'll first begin our analysis and review of the Prime Minister's address to the nation. But let's give him our listening ear in case you haven't heard. We'll review the Prime Minister's address to the nation in its entirety, on the back end of which we'll make a connection with a friend over in New York City for analysis and review of the address to the nation. Here now is the Prime Minister, Philip Joseph Pierre.
Citizens of St. Lucia, our country is at a critical juncture in its development. Despite the complicated global challenges that confront us, including climate change, inflation, supply chain issues, and the Ukraine-Russia war, we have registered many successes during our short time as a government. These successes are a result of prudent financial management, policies that put you, the people, first, the confidence of the private sector, and the cooperation of civil society groups and trade unions. Your resilience allowed us to cushion the COVID-19 onslaught on families, businesses, and our way of life. It is because of that resilience, that survival nature, which captures our spirit as St. Lucians. A business survey conducted by the Chamber of Commerce has registered improved business performances. The NIC has reported, for the first time in its history, a record number of contributors to the fund. Investor confidence is back, as evidenced by the number of investment projects which will take off next year. We are recording some of the best tourism figures, and we continue to be recognized globally for our unique product offerings. However, we risk losing all these gains by the persistently high incidence of homicides which we have been recording, especially over the last 6 years. We have been nurturing an environment over the years of tolerance for corruption where crime thrives. Our crime situation is not a sudden phenomenon. We did not just get there. Successive governments have grappled with this situation. It has hurt us. It has caused pain to families and threatens the fabric of our society. But crime has continued to plague us for too long. We must fight back and take our communities. We must fight the scourge of crime individually and collectively as a country. To achieve this, we need you, the citizens, to promote a zero tolerance towards criminality of all forms. Small infractions of the law, not speaking the truth, threats, malicious gossip, envy, peddling lies and hatred on the internet and airways, domestic violence and child abuse may appear small in comparison to homicides, but we know how seemingly small issues snowball into larger societal problems. The underlying causes of crime make it a complex issue that cannot be left to the police alone and the government to solve. The fundamental question is, what type of citizen do we wish to create in St. Lucia and the world? Until we know the answer to this question, can we effectively overcome the crime challenges that beset us? An answer to this question is that we need to create an emphatic citizen who respects the rule of law and value and respect human life and human rights. Forming this type of citizen requires input from all sectors of society: the family, the schools, our churches, other civil society groups, businesses, and the government. It has been said before that crime is every citizen's business, and we must all play our part in stemming its increase. Our neighborhood watch groups must be reactivated, along with organized sports clubs and wholesale community activities. In short, we must return to being our neighbor's keeper. The government continues within its limited resources to assist the police to fulfill its mandate of ensuring law and order. Yes, the police must play their part in upholding and enforcing the rule of law. They must be examples of good governance in the conduct of their duties. They must be obedient to their oath and have a zero tolerance for corruption among their ranks. Over the last 16 months, the government has signed contracts for the construction of the National Divisional Headquarters to replace the Grove City Police Station, signed a contract for extensive repairs to the Viewfort Police Headquarters, purchased 90 new vehicles for the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. In July 2022, the Firearms Amendment Act was enacted in the House of Assembly, increasing the penalties for firearm offences. There was the inclusion of new clauses, including fines that can extend to $250,000 or to imprisonment for terms which may extend to life. We allowed operational independence to the police commissioner and high command of the police. We recruited new special police constables. We provided the Customs Department with improved equipment for the detection of guns at the ports of entry. We enacted legislation to ensure protection for women through the Domestic Violence Bill. We provided a special branch unit with new office accommodation. We enhanced crime detection capabilities by achieving accreditation for the National Forensic Lab. We provided the police with 2 additional vehicles for patrol and quick response purposes. In the coming months, the government will formalize an interagency intelligence committee to adopt an interagency collaborative approach within law enforcement agencies to work collectively with a common goal of combating serious and organized crime. We'll purchase 20 more vehicles for the police force. We'll continue repairs to police stations and provide much needed equipment at these stations. We'll conduct repairs and enhance security at the Bodily Correctional Institution. We'll increase the police training vote to ensure that our police are trained in modern police techniques of crime detection, including human rights. We'll review the promotion policy for the police. We'll commence the construction of a new Halls of Justice. We'll operationalize the Swift Justice Project to reduce the backlog of cases and to inspire confidence in our judicial system. We will intensify efforts to detect and eliminate corruption among members of the police force and other law enforcement agencies. We'll introduce drones to assist in crime detection. We'll strengthen and increase community policing and mobile and foot patrol by the police. We'll commence the reconstruction of the custody suites, which was inadvisably and hastily demolished in 2021. We'll provide the police with new crime fighting techniques and special training. will install cameras at strategic locations around the island. In addition to law enforcement, the government has instituted several social interventions. We continue to provide safety nets for our vulnerable citizens within our tight fiscal space. These include enhanced social projects and food and gas subsidies, including rehabilitation programs for released offenders. Only on Tuesday, we borrowed from the Caribbean Development Bank $5 million to assist the vulnerable in our country. Over 8,000 citizens will be impacted. We'll launch an island-wide cleanup campaign starting next week to clear verges, roadside hedges, and overhanging branches to increase visibility to pedestrians and motorists, and we have them maintained. Cabinet has agreed to convert the George Charles Secondary School compound to a facility for the rehabilitation of young offenders. These are just a few social interventions which commence within the next few months. Very shortly, I'll be announcing a comprehensive social intervention program to complement the law enforcement measures previously mentioned. The challenges we face are demanding, but not insurmountable. I call on all St. Lucians to play their part in rebuilding our country and to recognize that the issue of crime is for all of us to tackle. I take the opportunity to advise citizens to avoid the temptation of spreading graphic scenes of dead and mutilated bodies out of respect for those who have suffered the loss of loved ones. We do not want to be a society that has become accustomed to scenes of mutilated bodies and blood spilling. In the coming weeks, as the police will intensify searches and roadblocks, there will be some inconvenience. I urge the public to be understanding and cooperate with the police during these trying times. In November this year, the police confiscated 29 firearms and over 470 rounds of ammunition. The police are expected to make maximum use of the powers conferred upon them by the law to bring an end to the upsurge of homicides in our country. And I can assure the police that we have the full support of the government as they continue to battle the criminal elements who are insisting on causing havoc and havoc in our country. We must offer no encouragement in word or deed to criminal behavior, and the government will be relentless in supporting the police in that battle. The majority of St. Lucians are hospitable, peaceful, law-abiding, and loving people. We can't afford the criminal minority to compromise our way of life. Our island must remain a desirable place for us to live, work, and recreate, and a welcoming country for the thousands who visit us every year. Collectively, we need to confront these criminals that seem to be creating an atmosphere of fear and trepidation. As a people, we must not allow criminality to overcome us. Let us all play our part as we continue to fight together. As Prime Minister, you have my full support and commitment in this battle. May God guide our island at this time.
The Prime Minister saying there you have his full support and a commitment in this battle. Our phone lines are now open, 4500 and the WhatsApp line as well, 584-0077, 584-0600, 584-0600. That's the Flow WhatsApp line. Did the Prime Minister inspire? Did the Prime Minister give you confidence that work will be done to confront this crime problem head on? You touch base with us and you let us know your opinion, your impressions on the Prime Minister's address to the nation. I will hold off on my assessment in just a bit. Later on in the program, we will have a former national security advisor right here on St. Lucia joining us to review the current situation. I'm very happy to announce as well that next week, very early in the week, we will have with us on the platform a former police commissioner here in St. Lucia, perhaps the most loved commissioner to date. I'm saying perhaps. He will be with us tomorrow, next week on the platform. Should be a very intriguing discourse. But let's begin our analysis and review of the Prime Minister's address to the nation, which was greeted, by the way, moments after by heavy gunfire in the southern town of Vieux Fort. Religious leader, friend of the show, social commentator and observer, concerned citizen, Mr. Garfield Oliver now joins me live from New York City. Garfield, welcome to the platform. Always nice having you on.
Yes, thank you very much, Shannon. It's a blessing, a pleasure to be here with you. This early in the morning, it is 6:28 a.m. on my end, so it is a pleasure to be here with you.
Nice to have you, and thanks for waking up early. 1 hour ahead of you in our zone, and we really appreciate that you're up early to discuss some very pertinent issues of national importance at this time. Garfield's image will come on screen in just a bit. My technicians are working behind the scenes now, so just hold on for us, Garfield. But we can begin the conversation where we ended yesterday with a lot of our religious leaders, yourself as well, very much monitoring what's happening here on the ground. From your perspective as a religious leader, what's the gravity of the situation that we now deal with? 238 square miles, just about a population of 180,000, 66 homicides to date.
Well, I think I've never seen, and that's the truth, I've never seen this level of lawlessness on the island of St. Lucia. Yes, we've had a lot of crimes in the past, but when you look at the society, something is wrong. Something is wrong, and I believe it has a lot to do with our mindset. People are more ungodly, unkind to each other. And when we look at our brothers in government, those in authorities, then you would see that reflection of their behavior in some sectors, in some parts of the society. And so it is a great concern. It's a great problem for me. I've been monitoring it for a very long time, and there's much more than what I'm hearing that needs to be done. We are still not getting it. I don't think the government, they're paying enough attention to this crime situation. And the sad reality, we continue on this path, we're going to lose a lot of our young brothers and sisters on the island.
In just a bit, I'll ask you, Garfield, of your opinion on some of what needs to be done to confront the issues that we face. Again, the video transmission is being worked on as we speak, and it should be on in just a bit. But let's speak about the breakdown of the family structure. Many years ago, family played a critical role in raising up a child, and not just the immediate family, but the community, which was viewed as a family as well. That has somewhat disappeared. How much is that breakdown contributing to some of the mayhem that we're now seeing?
Well, the home, you see, is the society is a reflection of the home, and we are seeing a breakdown in the family circle, where you have more single parents, you have more single mothers, or a grandmother raising a child, a boy. That grandmother is limited in what she can, how she can assist that child in growing up. You have the fathers who are absent. The fathers are either on the block in gangs, or just running around. And I spoke about it sometime last week. It is sad. We have more teenage pregnancy. We have a lot of our um we have a lot. The problem, the problem here is family planning. When I say family planning, I'm not speaking about medication, tablets, and those things. I'm speaking about um, families sitting down, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife coming together, planning their future. The young persons who are heading into relationships, um, discussing children, career, marriage, and those things. Most of the children, the kids that we see being born in not only St. Lucia, in some of the societies, are unplanned pregnancies. And because the parents are not equipped, some they do not have jobs, they're living at their parents' home. Then I believe we're seeing that type of that reflection in our communities. Most of the times, the grandmother end up having to raise some of those children, and the grandparents. Some of them have gone through hell even raising their children, and so there's no breathing space, and so those children are neglected. And the reality here is that the churches normally would pick up that slack when it comes to that family breakdown, but we're seeing we're not hearing much from our religious circles, and so it seems like even the government, their hands are tied. They're not sure, what to do and how to manage this breakdown. You have families who cannot provide a nutritious meal for those children, and there's frustration. And frustration, my friend, leads to some of these criminal activities that we're seeing in the society.
Yeah, we're speaking here with Pastor Garfield Olivier. We will delve into an analysis of the Prime Minister's recent budget address, recent national address in just a bit, not a budget address, a national address on, in the main, focusing on crime. We will focus our analysis in just a bit. Our technicians are sorting out the video connection. Hopefully, I could have Garfield on screen in just a bit. Our phone lines remain open, 45000777. You can come in on the discussion as well and join us here in studio. Good morning to Josie Stephen, 1 hour behind as well. She's watching from Toronto, Canada. And good morning to all of our viewers online as well, St. Lucians in the diaspora. All of what we see in Garfield, and we spoke to the breakdown of the family structure. Is it a price we unfortunately pay for development, because people are trying to achieve more, and there's more pressure on the family now to go out and to achieve and to be successful, so to speak? Is it a price we pay, unfortunately, in our quest for development?
Well, it could be. It could be that. But it is a sad price. It's a sad price to pay, and that's why you need more social interventions in dealing with the crime situation on the island. Yes, you can give more police vehicles, and you can, you can fix your legal system where cases can be dealt with, in a hurry. But then you will need social programs. You got to have that safety net for some of these broken families. You, even with local governments and local communities, you need to have that coming together of churches and the government in providing in each community, that type of support, child care. When a mother have to, got to decide whether she's going to send her child to a daycare versus providing a meal and those type of things, then when parents have to, when persons have to make that choice, then we have a problem. So I believe the government and even our local congregations and other social groups in the community can come together and help these families.
Yeah. Lastly on that, Garfield, before we go to our analysis of the address, from you, definitely the churches have a greater role to play and must have a louder voice in all of this.
Yes, yes. I'm concerned about our churches. That's the truth. I'm concerned because you're not hearing them. We've had last week, I believe it was 4 murders, and the religious folks, they were just quiet. Our pastors, our leaders, there was this deafening silence, and we need to hear their voices. Church is not about money. It is not about just standing behind your pulpit. It is about being the salt of the earth, like the Bible says. Helping the vulnerable in your society. But there is this taboo that if you're a Christian, then you should not be in social issues or speaking on political matters. And that is a lie from the pits of hell. We are losing our generation. We are losing our people. And all we are doing is speaking about Babylon. We are speaking about all these, the Pope. We are speaking about, and sometimes we border into conspiracies while we lose a generation.
I'll speak to my wife.
Garfield, you're here with us still?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. We're having a very interesting discussion with Garfield. Let's bring it home a bit. We just observed the review and the replay of the Prime Minister's address to the nation on crime in its entirety. I know you watched it and you've been monitoring a lot of the feedback. A lot of feedback has been coming in. The opposition has responded, and citizens at home and abroad have been sharing feedback as well. From you Garfield, what's your assessment first to begin of the 12-minute statement? Did the Prime Minister inspire and give you any confidence?
No, I gotta be honest. No, he did not. There is no bold ideas. It's the same stories that you have been hearing over and over again. We will give more vehicles to the police. We will bill. We will bill. We will bill. We borrow $5 million US for the vulnerable. On my end, you have persons who are trying to figure out whether I'm a vulnerable, and what does that mean?
Yeah, because COVID has made several sections of our society vulnerable. Huh?
Yes, and I mean $5 million. What is that all about? So you have families who are now, they are more questions now than answers, and so they want to know, how they can benefit. Some of them cannot pay their light bills, their water bill. It's difficult to get food on the table. And when I say food, some people will think banana and oil or sardine is what you call a meal. We're talking about a nutritious meal.
A nutritious meal,
right?
Yes.
Because the problem that you will face later down would be a health crisis among your people, because even in small developing countries, there is still the problem with food insecurity. And when you have food insecurity, you will have undernutrition. And with undernutrition, you are looking at another pandemic ahead of you, not corona, not respiratory, but you will have other problems like cancer, and diabetes, high blood pressure, and all these sicknesses that comes about as a result of lack of nutrition. So what is the $5 million all about? Are we going to reduce on the cost of electricity and cooking gas so that families can afford? Are we going to reduce on some of the basic food items that families in St. Lucia need at this time? What is the $5 million all about? And that's the question.
And how far away will the 5 million go? We await further advice from the office of the Prime Minister. Who benefits? Who is vulnerable? Because 5 million alone will be welcomed by the fisher folk, I can tell you, who are still waiting for the fuel subsidy. So how far will that 5 million go? We still await.
Because Shannon, I get a lot of requests over here on my end from persons on the ground, families, vulnerable families, for financial support. Some of them just need some food. And, it is very sad that, again, I go back to the religious organizations who are there on the ground, but are not able to. And by the way, like the Adventist Church can get support from the outside. We have agencies like ADRA, Adventist Development and Relief Agency, and our community service based around the world, that they themselves can put in requests to get support for the vulnerable in the society. So I know they have been doing their best, but I believe that much more can be done, because when you look at the type of crimes, when you look at crimes in St. Lucia, you want to deal with it from not with locking people up and all these things, but you got to get to the root of those problems. Frustration, like I said, a father not being able to provide for his family, decides, look, I am tired, there's nowhere to turn. Let me just go and trespass on somebody's property and get some stuff for my family. And so that scenario is real, and we must be able to and the 5 million, the truth is, government will be government, and a lot of stuff can go wrong, but we got to deal with poverty, the issue of poverty in St. Lucia. I believe St. Lucia, they're way behind in dealing with this poverty issue. We're way behind on it.
Yeah. Let me just take in some feedback from somebody who sent in a message on the WhatsApp platform, and then we'll continue our discourse. Garfield, just hold on for me. We're still trying to sort out the video feed. Somebody says, good morning. With regards to the address, I honestly don't think it had an impact. Crime starts at the top. If we continue to see our leaders get away with, what examples are we setting? What is in place for the youth after the age of 12 here? What activities, centers, what entertainment? You are given two options. Either you grow up quickly or you continue to play at pizza. More focus needs to be placed on the early stage. As for the churches, people, especially most youth, have no faith in the churches anymore. They don't make you feel welcome. The church has become more and more judgmental. Just to balance off, I think we began the conversation, and maybe now, rather late than never, the church is getting the message that they need to have a greater voice in what's happening here, because sooner rather or later it will get to the pulpit, believe you or not. What should have been contained in the Prime Minister's address, Garfield, that was omitted? What would you have loved to hear?
Well, my number one, what I would have loved to hear from the Prime Minister, and I'm sure many of St. Lucians, would be what is he doing with his cabinet, his government officials, to lead to lead by example. For instance, we've had a number of government officials who have been out there on social media and on the media on a whole, cursing, arguing, throwing NIPWE and all the other back and forth as government officials. When you look at the House setting has been very I would not allow my daughter, I have one child, I would not allow my daughter to sit at a television together with me and watch the debates, because I believe they're childish. I'm lost for words. I'm trying to be nice with my choice of words. I'm sorry, Mr. Shannon, but I am disappointed because the Prime Minister, you cannot come out and say to St. Lucians, tone it down on social media, the lies and all those stuff that he's saying, cursing out of each other. But in the House, we are seeing the very same thing that we're cautioning our population on. Why can't we start from the House? Why can't the Prime Minister sit with Mr. Chastney and iron out their differences? Why can't Mr. Frederick and all these government officials, even the Speaker of the House, all those of us who have eyes to see, we can see that there is a problem in the House, a major problem in government, and we cannot turn a blind eye on it. Some of our religious people are afraid to speak up. We need better representation in our government, better representation. What I'm seeing is a ghetto type attack, attack team attack. Let's get at him. Let's make him look as bad as we can. And we need to step it up. Mr. Prime Minister need to deal with his government officials, and the Speaker need to be a little more professional and fair and balanced. He represents the people, not himself and not a political party.
And that's the essence of what the last contributor is saying as well. There needs to be examples set from the top. Another contribution, Garfield, and Don, you do the research overnight if you can. We need to find a medium that replace the WhatsApp contributions, the text messages on screen, so we can broadcast those. I think it protects me as the host, so people don't think I'm the one just coming up with some of those contributions. Thanks as well for sending them. Just hold on for me, Garfield. Somebody saying good morning. How do they expect our young people to behave when our leaders themselves are already behaving like criminals? Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning, Shannon. Crime has become such a major problem and issue in this society. It has given rise and focus to popularity of the term national security instead of public safety. National security focus solely on policing, law and judicial systems, while public safety collectively includes national security and its impact on health, life, injury, and safety of the public whom the crime national security issue impacts. In my opinion and view, there is need to be a paradigm shift from focusing on the use on term national security as opposed to public safety. It is so painful obvious that national security is not being viewed to include, and it is very core public safety, as crime impacts the life and health of the public. And with that in mind, the police do not function independently of other agencies such as emergency medical services and legislation required EMS systems, which is designed and exists globally to ensure and provide a public service. So the contributor here, it's a very long piece. Most have no clue that they need to be speaking public safety and not just the words national security, because national security includes and pertains to public safety with Much include EMS, national security is not just policing. Think public safety collectively and not just national security in isolation. Of other points of key agencies which play major integral roles in public safety. This country and society also needs a public safety administration agency or department with a collective holistic view for societal development. Food for thought there. We still don't have the video with Garfield. No. Manager also indicating something to me. Garfield, you have time, correct?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here with you.
Garfield has some time. So let me shoot you one more question, and then I'll connect with our producers in the back scene. How much is the poor state of the economy and the poor performance of the economy contributing to the bloodshed and the violent crime?
Well, as I said, we you know, Shannon, we have there's frustration for sure, and coming out of COVID, you know, we have a lot of families are feeling the squeeze. Some of them are still out of jobs, and again, like I said earlier, there's frustration, and there will be frustration when you can't provide, you cannot get a job, you want to work. You know, especially the younger folks, they would just throw their hands in the air. But the problem that I'm seeing, some of those persons, those young people, especially the boys, the men, some of them do not want to work. You can actually, when you see them, they either have a bag across their shoulder, stuffed with whatever it is, be it a gun, a knife, some marijuana. And you know, one of the mistakes that the government made was when they came in, they were like, oh, the people are responsible, we let us not push them, let us not arrest them, let us not. Well, that's the idea you got when they got into power, because what they were doing, they were trying to say to the opposition, well, you guys during COVID were manhandling persons, and so you didn't like them, you because you're a white man, you have your foot on the people's neck, and so we're going to liberate them. Those who committed petty crimes, we would forgive. Those who violated the law, the COVID restriction laws, then it is okay, we will wipe that out. And those with small marijuana, we will wipe it out. Those type of things are not good. But now the Prime Minister is saying, well, we got to take care of all these petty crimes. But which one is it? That's the concern. Which one is it? Mm-hmm. Are you saying to the people, well, you know, you got to be liberated from the white man who had his foot on your neck, and now you're trying to pull back that horse that is out the stable? And but most of these killing, when you some of them, they're persons who are in groups, and they're getting back at each other. Majority of them, you know, you violate my guy, so I'm going to violate somebody for you. I'm going to violate your vehicle. I'm going to violate your home. I'm going to wipe you out. How dare you? You know, the strongest man really tell. Some of them don't want to work, really. Some of them just want a life of crime, and those persons need to be dealt with severely by the law. They need to be dealt with, and that's why the stop and frisk is very important in St. Lucia. Roadblocks are important. The government need to order police towers to be set up in certain hot spots, like in the Courts area on the Sauce Road, where you have when you have concerns there. Towers, police towers need to be set up. Temporary towers need to be set up. Mobile units need to be.
Mobile units. So Garfield, $5 million will not cut it. There needs to be a massive investment, and if the Prime Minister listens to the experts, one of whom we had here recently, the police officers themselves are asking for at least 100 more police officers to patrol the streets. At least. They can do it more, but they're saying they need at least 100 more. We need massive investment in the security infrastructure, as you say, in the mobile police units in and around hotspots, CCTV cameras in and around the length and breadth of St. Lucia, in addition to your social programs. So 5 million will not cut it. I don't know where you're getting the money. I'm not the Prime Minister, you are, but there needs to be massive investment if we are serious about confronting these issues. We can pull off the investments in other locations and put it towards stemming the crime situation, but 5 million alone will not cut it right now. It's simply a bandage on a wound.
Yes, and the monies that are used to hire a new deputy speaker and all those type of things, they're not necessary at this time. That is not important to the people now. Their safety is important. So all those monies and the extra traveling, there is Zoom, there is other, methods that you can use to have your meetings, international meetings. You have ambassadors and other folks in most of these other countries representing the government of St. Lucia. So yes, and the idea of more police officers, you can have 100 more police officers, but how are they trained? Are they trained in psychology? Are they trained in human behavior? Community policing? What type of what we have been doing is just give these police officers, some of them, a crash course and throw them on the field and say, well, you're now police officers. And then we go to Boston and we say, we have 100 more. We hired 100 more officers. But what type? How are they trained?
Two more for me. Three more, Garfield, because my next guest already on standby. We'll have a former national security advisor. Garfield, you're a friend of the show, so we'll bring you back anytime once your schedule permits. Let's talk about again the show of leadership. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Number one problem associated with crime is poverty. The people are hungry. Continues to send us your comments. Continue to send us your comments and your feedback. We're online, Facebook. We're also in HD on YouTube as well. WhatsApp platforms and the Flow landline.
The government also needs to be careful with their prison system, because what I found out is that there are a number of young persons up there who are on remand for 3 and 4 years, and they cannot get their case into the courts.
Yep, the judicial system needs to be addressed. There's a backlog of cases, and there was one interesting initiative that we focused on, the proposed bench, trials, which should speed up the system and get a lot of people getting their matters cleared up.
Yeah, that system should not be, it should not be at all. And you have, and the society, they're looking on because when you have persons in a society who are influential, and they can get their cases into that court within seconds, then you will have a frustrated society. And a frustrated society would start acting a certain way. And so we got to let the people of St. Lucia, every citizen, see that the legal system is working for the rich, it is working for the poor. Whether you have money, you can get representation, you can have your cases brought forth just like the politicians. We see it every day. So there is injustice in the society. There is injustice, and poverty need to be dealt with quickly, or we're going to have a major problem, not only with crime, but also with
societal decay
and the health of the nation. and we know our medical system is not the best, and to add that extra burden on it as a result of undernutrition, then we need to wake up right away, and we need not to hire a deputy speaker from outside, use that money to help with the poverty issues on the island.
Hold on for me, Garfield. I'll ask you one more and then let you go. But we have a caller who we welcome to the platform right now. Thanks for calling. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Shannon. Good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Yes, I was listening to the program yesterday when you had all the different religious people on. Mm-hmm. And there's a statement being said, it's been said for some time now, that everything has been tried, so we need to try new things. And I'm not discounting that we need to try new things. But in saying that everything has been tried and it has failed, I'm just wondering if everything that has been tried, it has been tried to the best of its ability, whatever suggestions. Because you're looking at something like patrols. I've been hearing that, there's police patrol, but I'm wondering, where are these police patrolling? I drive on the road every day. It's been years. I've seen a police cop on the road patrolling, looking out for people, who are breaking the law, who speeding, whatever, to pull them over, vehicles with bad tires. I mean, Shannon, there's such a myriad of problems with every single aspect of St. Lucia. We are almost operating like the Wild West. There seems to be nothing going right.
I want to be fair to the police, caller, just hold on for me.
Yeah, sure.
You don't see the police from your vantage point, but I want to be fair. I see the police quite often. The police are quite often in and around the city of Castries, Jeremy Street, and the crime hotspots. The problem is the police are understaffed and they don't have adequate numbers. So just like you and I who work 8 to 5s or 9 to 4s, the police work schedules as well. They have off days as well. They have families as well. And they have regular lives. So we can't expect the police to be in the hotspots, the same quota of police officers in the hotspots 24/7. They have said they need more men.
I'm glad you made mention of the same quota, because that seems to be one of the biggest problems, Shannon. You have police presence seems to cut off by 4 o'clock. I mean, that is unacceptable. They must have a system in place. They should have another shift coming in. I'm sure there are people working at night or whatever, or I'm not sure if there are people working at it, because you don't see police after 4 o'clock. I'm not saying that there aren't any, Shannon. I'm just saying the presence of police. You are saying that you are seeing them. Well, maybe you know these people. They may be in plain clothes, but the police officer in uniform is a deterrent. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I am not seeing enough of that. If it is just in the city of Castries, the central city of Castries, I will have to say that it is not enough,
It's not enough, and I'm agreeing with you, caller. It's not enough, but I'm just saying, let's be fair to the police. The men and women on the streets, it's beyond them. They're not the one managing the schedules, and they're not the one setting the days off. They're not the one saying we're going to hire 10 more, 20 more.
Well, I don't know if you're looking at casting. I'm not really casting blame on the police that are supposed to be the ones doing the footwork. I'm saying there's supposed to be a police system. There's supposed to be a police commissioner. There's supposed to be strategy.
Absolutely.
So what people are saying, they're not seeing any clear strategy. Today you have 10 cops walking. You feel good. Oh boy, there's so many cops. Tomorrow there's none.
Yeah. So because tomorrow the 10 who were walking yesterday, the day off is tomorrow. They're tired tomorrow,
right.
So and they don't have a replacement. That's the reality.
So I must say, I just find we're not seeing enough organization from the police. I think honestly, the police have sufficient resources to show some kind of order. Like you don't see any order. It's like haphazard. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
I don't want to be soft, caller, on the police. I want to thank you for calling, but I disagree. The police do not have sufficient resources at this time.
No. I'm not saying they have enough, Shannon. No, I am not saying that. I am saying with what we have, because at the end of the day, we always have to work with what we have, right? I'm just saying with what we have over 1,000 plus police. You understand? I think if we utilize our resources properly, if we have a clear plan, I think we could do better. I'm not saying that they're not understaffed. I know they are heavily understaffed. In terms of they need everything. We need everything. But I think at the end of the day, and this is not about the police. I'm talking about in general, Shannon. St. Lucia, we really need to put a better foot forward. I mean, we are failing in every aspect, Shannon. We need to find a way to do a lot better. We need to stop tacitly endorsing mediocrity. There's too much mediocrity in St. Lucia, and we need to elevate from that.
That's where we are now. Thank you, caller. Thanks so much for calling. The phone lines remain open, 4500-777. Garfield, before I let you go, what's the mood amongst citizens in the diaspora? What are St. Lucians saying amidst all what's happening here at home?
Well, what I'm hearing is that the folks are afraid to come back home, even for the holidays. They are afraid. They are concerned, and I mean, it is already impacting visitors to the island. And we know once you have that increase in violence in a country, then citizens of other countries are advised to stay away from certain, or be careful in going into some of these countries like St. Lucia. And so, what I'm hearing is that folks, I am scheduled to be in St. Lucia, but I'm heading to London in the next few days, then to St. Lucia. And I am concerned. I am concerned. Yes, I trust in Almighty God to protect me, but the crime level needs to be brought under control, and it can be brought under control there. But on the ground, folks are not too excited about Christmas back home this year. Very sad indeed. Very sad.
I feel I'm disappointed we didn't get an opportunity to bring the image on screen because of the setup that you have, and it's a face that's quite familiar in our St. Lucian communities. I know St. Lucians love to have you, but that's the way technology works sometimes, no fault of ours or our technicians here at the Morn. We'll always have you back. I want to thank you for coming on and your analysis and comments this morning. Garfield Oliver from New York.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. Nice to be at hand to all your listeners. A beautiful morning. Blessed morning to all. And your producers and everybody there.
You stay safe, my good man. We'll talk again.
Thank you, sir.
Still to come, I have a very special guest who is on hold. Hi, good morning, Alex. I'll come to you shortly. And thanks for being so very patient, my man. And then we'll have the special focus, former National Security Advisor here in St. Lucia. Next week, happy to announce that we'll have a former police commissioner who will join us on the platform. In my humble opinion, so far it is the most loved police commissioner that we've had to date. He will join us here on the platform. Alex is next, and then we have a national security, former national security advisor on the platform. 13 and a half minutes moving down after 8. Good morning. Thanks for making us your choice.